The Flood. The story of Noah's Ark is more than just a tale of animals boarding a boat. It's a narrative of unparalleled destruction. Frustrated by humanity's wickedness, God decides to flood the earth, eradicating nearly all life. Only Noah, his family, and a pair of each animal are spared. While many see this story as a fresh start for humanity, the sheer loss of innocent lives raises serious ethical questions. Why would an all-powerful, all-loving God resort to such drastic measures? For some, this story symbolizes hope and renewal. But for others, it feels like punishment on an unimaginable scale. The imagery of a rainbow afterward might be comforting, but it can't erase the grim details of global annihilation. It's a story that continues to divide interpretations and spark debate. The Conquest of Canaan. The Israelites' journey to the Promised Land takes a brutal turn with God's command to annihilate the Canaanites. Entire cities are destroyed, with men, women, children, and animals killed in what's referred to as harem, or devotion to destruction. While some view this as divine justice and fulfillment of God's promises, others see it as a chilling example of genocide. Modern readers wrestle with reconciling this violence with the image of a loving God. These stories have also been controversially used to justify violence in history. Was this command meant for a specific time and context, or does it reflect deeper questions about morality? The lack of resolution in the narrative leaves readers uneasy. It's a powerful yet deeply troubling episode in biblical history. Job's suffering. The story of Job is a testament to faith under extreme adversity, but it's not without controversy. God permits Satan to test Job by taking away his wealth, family, and health. Job endures unimaginable suffering, yet he never loses his faith. While his fortunes are restored in the end, the trauma of his losses lingers in readers' minds. Was it fair for God to allow such devastation just to prove a point? The story raises philosophical questions about suffering, divine justice, and the limits of human resilience. For some, Job's unwavering faith is an inspiration. For others, it's a troubling example of unnecessary hardship. The ambiguity of the story leaves its moral lessons open to interpretation. Jephthah's rash vow. Jephthah's vow to sacrifice the first thing he sees upon returning home after victory is one of the Bible's most tragic stories. Unfortunately, the first to greet him is his beloved daughter. Despite his anguish, Jephthah fulfills his vow, sacrificing her to God. The story has been debated for centuries, with many questioning why God didn't intervene. It also serves as a cautionary tale about making reckless promises. Was Jephthah's act one of faith or a misguided sense of duty? This narrative highlights the dangers of blind adherence to vows and traditions. It's a heartbreaking reminder of how zeal without wisdom can lead to devastating consequences. Abraham and Isaac. Abraham's near sacrifice of his son Isaac is one of the Bible's most unsettling episodes. God commands Abraham to offer Isaac as a sacrifice, testing his loyalty and faith. Abraham complies, binding Isaac and preparing to kill him, only to be stopped by God at the last moment. While some interpret this story as the ultimate act of trust in God, others see it as a chilling example of religious extremism. Imagine the fear and confusion Isaac must have felt during this ordeal. The emotional weight of this story is often glossed over in discussions of faith. Why would God demand such a horrific act only to retract it? It's a narrative that leaves readers grappling with complex questions about obedience and morality. Lot and his daughters. After escaping Sodom and Gomorrah, Lot and his daughters take refuge in a cave, leading to one of the Bible's most unsettling stories. Believing they'll never marry, the daughters conspire to preserve their family line by getting their father drunk and sleeping with him. The Bible presents this shocking event without overt condemnation or approval. Readers are left to interpret the morality and desperation driving these actions. It's a narrative that highlights the extreme lengths people may go to in dire circumstances. Why is this story included? And what lessons are to be learned from it? The ambiguity makes it one of the Bible's most difficult passages. It forces readers to confront uncomfortable questions about survival and ethics. Bald prophet and bears. The story of Elisha and the bears is a lesser-known but deeply perplexing biblical tale. When a group of children mock Elisha by calling him baldhead, he curses them in God's name. In response, 2 bears emerge and maul 42 of the children. The punishment seems shockingly disproportionate to the offense, leaving readers to question its purpose. Was this an extreme lesson on respecting prophets, or an example of divine overreaction? This brief but violent episode has puzzled scholars and believers alike. It raises questions about justice, mercy, and the nature of God's involvement in human affairs. It's a story that leaves more questions than answers. Book of Revelation. The Book of Revelation offers a vivid and often terrifying glimpse into the end of the world. Its apocalyptic imagery includes plagues, beasts, and rivers of blood, culminating in a final battle between good and evil. For some, this book is a source of hope, promising ultimate victory for believers. For others, it's a grim and violent portrayal of divine wrath. The depiction of Jesus as a warrior contrasts sharply with his loving image in the Gospels. Is Revelation meant to be taken literally or symbolically? Its cryptic language and intense imagery have sparked countless interpretations. Whether inspiring or unsettling, Revelation remains one of the Bible's most enigmatic books. Jesus' challenging teachings on family. Jesus is often seen as a figure of peace and love, but some of his teachings challenge traditional family values. In the Gospels, he states that he came not to bring peace but a sword, dividing households. He even says his followers must hate their families to be his disciples. These statements can seem at odds with his message of love and forgiveness, creating a sense of tension. Some interpret his words as a call to prioritize faith over familial ties. Others find them unsettling, questioning why faith would require such stark sacrifices. These teachings have sparked debates about their intended meaning and cultural context. They remind us that Jesus' words often push us out of our comfort zones, demanding deep reflection. Women, slavery, and troubling laws. The Bible contains passages that have been criticized for condoning slavery and subordinating women. In Exodus, laws outline how slaves should be treated, including the allowance for physical punishment as long as it doesn't result in death. In the New Testament, women are told to remain silent in churches and submit to their husbands. These verses have fueled centuries of debate, especially as society has moved toward gender equality and human rights. Some argue these laws were specific to ancient times and cultural norms, not timeless moral directives. Others struggle to reconcile them with the Bible's overarching themes of justice and love. These passages often serve as a litmus test for how one interprets Scripture, literally, contextually, or allegorically. They remain some of the most contentious texts in the Bible, challenging readers to think critically. Thank you for watching the top 10 most controversial Bible stories. If you thought these stories were intense, our next video, Every Bizarre Story in the Bible Part 1, will take you on a journey through the strangest and most surprising tales. Subscribe and turn on notifications so you won't miss a video.